You see my man Kanye took out a full-page Wall Street Journal ad to apologize to basically everyone. I mean everyone. He's like, this letter is addressed to those I hurt. What the apology says is he's referencing his controversial behavior, his outbursts, his shifting views over the last few years. He apologizes to the black and Jewish communities, blah, blah, blah. I'm skeptical because seemingly every time I hear from this man, he has a new project coming out. And lo and behold, the 12th studio album. Bully is the name, which as a Mississippi State fan, I'm kind of into. It's scheduled for release this Friday. Well, nobody saw that coming. Vanity Fair asked him about it. Every time you apologize, you got a new record out. He's like, it's not a PR stunt. I'm genuine. Okay. Listen, if he says he's genuine, then by God, he's genuine. That's right. He said he's looking at the wreckage of his past and he is realizing that's not who he is. Okay. So as I thought through that, I realized that someone needs to create a scientific guide to spotting fake internet apologies. Now, as a communications master's student, I feel like there's probably more qualified people than me, and I think you would agree. However, I'm going to give this a shot. Maybe we can work together and make it better. How to spot a fake internet apology. If you see any of these three at once, congratulations, you're watching a performance, not remorse. Let's start with the location choice. Have you noticed when it comes time for the fake internet apology, they're sort of in this place where you immediately look at them and you go, they're humble now. They're on the floor, leaning against the couch in a hoodie that inevitably costs more than I made on my last paycheck, maybe more than my car. There's a candle in the background, which will have a name, so you know that it's sponsored. That's nice. Then the lighting, what's happening with that? Well, it's not regular lighting, right? It's not like you would normally see. It's that really soft golden glow. It makes them look like they're apologizing while filming a shampoo commercial. Gee, your hair smells terrific. Why, thanks. Here's the deal. If the apology has better lighting than your wedding photos, it's fake. Next, we move on to the voice drop. This is where they start talking like they just came back from a silent retreat. It used to go something like this. Hey, guys. Just wanted to come on here and be real for a moment. No, you didn't. You wanted to come on here and manage the situation, didn't you? Then we have the if sentence. It's coming, right? You got to think, there's a dead giveaway here. I'm sorry if anyone was offended. That's not an apology. That's more like a customer service email, right? It's the tone you use when your luggage didn't show up, not when you ruined the internet. It's different. Then there's the random prop. Think about all of these videos. There's always something in the back that just doesn't belong. A mug they're not going to drink from, a baseball bat, a notebook they've never opened, a dog that clearly didn't really consent to any of this, probably hasn't signed his paperwork. And I tell you what, somewhere in the middle, you can almost always count on the dog to sigh. Be like, oh, you know how dogs do? That's because even the dog knows that that apology is fake. The next thing we're going to do is add a charity name to it, right? Just want to tell you that I have donated to the blah, blah, blah. Yo, that's not accountability. That's a receipt and a tax write-off. I'm not stupid. That's the moral version of keeping the tag on the jacket because you're probably going to return it. I understand. Then you got to take obligatory time off. It's like when a football player loses their helmet on the field, they're going to wind up taking a play off. Same thing. So they're still going to have the same drop voice, everything, and they're going to be like, I'm going to take some time away from social media. So what that means is by next Tuesday, they're right back on, just like they always have been. Then they're going to comment lock this whole thing. They're going to finish the apology and think about it. Then they're going to shut off the comments, which is really not healing. It's more about closing the courtroom, isn't it? We're finished. We're not discussing that anymore. I'll tell you something else, too. Think about when they're laid up on that weird sit on the couch or on the floor leaning against the couch. Think about what's happening with their hair. Let me tell you how this is science. This is not stuff I make up. You know, I'm a scientist. I'm also a meteorologist. A messy bun equals growth arc. They're growing from the experience. A baseball cap, while they're on a spiritual journey. You can feel it. If their hair's down and all dramatic, well, it's a limited series. So the future promise has to come next, right? I'm committed to doing better. Now, they don't offer any plans or any steps. They're just committing to the commitment. And I like that. And also, here's something else that goes into the setting. If they're not sitting in by a couch or next to a wall with weird lighting, well, then they're apologizing in their car. You've seen that video. It's up here and the window's going and cars are going by in the background and you can see that. Or they're at the airport, or maybe they're at the beach. I mean, nothing says I take this seriously like TSA announcements going off in the background. That tells me that it's all up in your heart where it counts. I feel that. The emotional pause, too. I talked about this earlier. I think that has to be in any scientific approach to the fake internet apology. I think you have to stop talking, look down, breathe in, kind of all at the same time. That. I think you have to do it. Now, the next thing is the out of context defense, where they're going to tell us, they're going to say, things were taken out of context. And I'm like, sir, the context was you. I'm going to go on the record today and let you know in this scientific analysis about spotting fake internet apologies, you no longer get to use out of context when you do something completely whack. In other words, the out of context defense is dependent on what you got caught doing. For instance, you can't say out of context if you were riding the decorative horse right out in front of P.F. Chang's like it owed you money. No real angle where that's going to make sense, is it? That's just Tuesday for you. I know. I've done it. And I'm going to tell you, it's not a good idea because when you get that high up on that horse, you realize you may have to call the fire department to get yourself down. It's a long shimmy down a horse's leg, and there's videos somewhere. I'm just going to tell you, I'm not sure I'm allowed back in Lansing, Michigan. I don't know. Here's another thing. You cannot claim out of context if you and your main girl got caught making out on the Ferris wheel inside Shields over at the mall. See, that's not a misunderstanding. That's an away game. You can't use out of context for that. At some point, out of context stops being a defense and starts being a biography. You need to think about that because context doesn't create behavior. Context just introduces it. And finally, as we start talking about discovering whether the internet apology is fake or real, at the end, we're going to get a sudden rebrand. 2 weeks later, got a new profile pic, new bio, new energy drink sponsor, doing a little more working out on their videos. Now, the behavior ain't going to change in the end, but it looks better, and it really is about how much lipstick we can put on the pig, isn't it? Truth is, we don't watch apology videos anymore to forgive people, do we? No, we're there for the show. I want to know what act you're going with. Is it a documentary? Is it a Hallmark movie? Is it a Netflix limited series? Now I'm invested, because at this point, the scandal isn't the mistake. The scandal is still thinking that we don't know the script. And it's hilarious to watch. When big-time actors or actresses have to do that, it's one thing. When internet people have to jump on and do that, it's popcorn worthy. I think we should have an awards each year, a ceremony for the best fake internet apology. I think that'd be a good time. I was riding along in the car the other day. I don't know if this ever happens to you. I tend to be a really good singer. People that know me know I hit all the keys at random. I'm not really discriminate. And I'm usually pretty loud about it. So when I'm in my car and there's no one else around, let me just tell you, it's a total eclipse of good judgment. I will go crazy because every now and then I fall apart. And I need you now tonight. You know what I'm saying? You know when Bonnie Tyler gets a hold to you right here and you screaming at your windows, every now and then I fall. Like, you got it, right? You are feeling it. Yeah. So Bonnie Tyler's Total Eclipse of the Heart, singing that the other day on the radio, and then I did some research. That sucker just hit 1 billion streams. She says she made pretty much nothing on it. That's sad. It's a 43-year-old song. Like I said, it's hit 1 billion plus streams and 1.2 billion on YouTube. Cultural status, everywhere you look, this song at some point in your life has probably been on something, right? Drunk karaoke, something. The song's been playing longer than most of us have had knees that work. Now, I was looking at the origin of the story, and it was written by Jim Steinman. I want to get deep into this, but I want you to think about this song, Total Eclipse of the Heart. If you've never heard it, look it up. Bonnie Tyler. It's super theatrical, right? This song was originally offered to Meatloaf. That's where I think the fun of this song is. Think about Meatloaf. So Meatloaf, like a bat out of hell, you know, all of that. If you don't know that, go back and get familiar with that. So that song, Total Eclipse of the Heart, is offered to Meatloaf. Now think about a Meatloaf version of Total Eclipse of the Heart. Think about that. Imagine Meatloaf. He could have shredded this song. The label hears the demo. They're like, sick. We're totally in. And then Jim is like, no, I need 70 grand. The label's like, for a demo? Did you come in here and gargle your bong water? We don't do that here. It's not going to happen. 70 grand for a demo is fool's money. So they wouldn't pay. Let me tell you who did pay. Bonnie Tyler's team heard the song and said, you know what? I think we can go ahead and invest in that. Now, the first listen is Steinman playing it on a piano in New York. Bonnie Tyler hears it, an 8-minute version. 8 minutes in the 80s was not a song length. It was a commitment. Marriages didn't last that long at times. 8 minutes is a long time for any song. Now think about it. You got 1 billion streams, plaques on the wall, and the bank account for Bonnie Tyler has a shrug emoji. That's not okay. That's not good at all. She got a gold disc, 1 billion plays, and a checking account that still asks, are you sure? We should hold up. Maybe next month. Not fair. So the real joke is, I want you to think about streaming math. I'm not going to go down long on this. I worked in the radio business for about 30 years of my life, and I was here before we did the streaming math and before we made all that work. It's millions of listens, and it's pennies per play, and that pennies per play is split among writers, mechanicals for the musicians, and the singers. Now, and here's a hint, if the singer didn't write it, their pennies aren't as much as other folk pennies in a lot of cases. They're going to make their money off the touring, the T-shirts, and all the rest. The song went platinum, the paycheck went participation ribbon. That's not fair. That's just not fair. Then I was looking up her age and all of that. I wanted to see if she was still touring. She is. She's still doing boat cruises and stuff. 74. Still touring, largely because of that song. There are a few other Bonnie Tyler songs you can think of. It's a Heartache, I believe, was 81, I think, or 76. I get those years. I get that particular song mixed up. But remember, it's a heartache. That song? Yeah, nothing but a heartache. So that was good. And then she had I'm Holding Out for a Hero, I think was in Footloose. I'm holding out for a hero. I had to sing back on that, and I can't sing. But I was in a play where we did that down in Alabama, and I had to sit back there in the group. I just had to sing along. It was terrible. The most famous heartbreak song on planet Earth, still shows up as miscellaneous income in her bank account. As I get closer to retirement age and people are talking about the legacy, I love to hear 35, 40-year-olds start talking about the legacy, what they're going to leave behind that the planet will remember them by. And as I thought about that, my brain went, bro, you're not going to be here, so it really doesn't matter. If you have children, that's your legacy. They'll carry on. But things that you do on this earth, I mean, think about the plaques and the some of the busts that we used to have in town and the signs. And now we've found revisionist history and we've taken those names away and all that. So the point is their family went to their grave thinking he would be forever or she would be forever enshrined, and they're just not. So I don't know that all that stuff matters. I think maybe the pride comes in being able to do what you want to do on a day-to-day, not answering to someone else. The music business is an entire game of ups and downs, and it's more downs than it is ups. She managed to survive all of that. Now she's 74 years old. My guess is she's not starving to death. I'm certain she's not rich like she would like to be. I mean, let's face it, she's no Psy. This is no Gangnam Style, but she still should have been paid, right? But I think it is getting to do what you want to do on your clock. I think, isn't that the real win in life? Isn't that the ultimate congratulations, you did the right things? I talked to these students today, and when I talk to them, I'm like, you have to occupy roughly 40 years, 45 years, depending upon how you do things with work to get from one end to the other. So you have to decide what you're going to do in that time frame. And in my life, I look back now and I can see things that if I would have done a little different. Now, I don't know if I would have written the story much differently because all I ever wanted to do was make people laugh. So I got to do that, and I got to do it at a big level. So that was kind of cool. Now, I still enjoy doing it, but I'm not going to swing in those fences again. But that's all right. Sometimes we miss the forest for the trees. If you're like me and you spend way too much time on your phone scrolling, you'll check out the headline. Then you'll figure out quickly whether you're going to dismiss it or not, and you're probably going to have a smart comment in the middle. That's kind of where I live. So my head kind of goes like this. The headline reads, sex therapist who has slept with 400 clients reveals why she does the job. I didn't read it. But at that point, are you a therapist or are you a loyalty program with a punch card? I don't know. There could be more to it. I didn't read it, so I wouldn't know. Headline from Sports Illustrated read, Matthew Stafford had powerful message for Rams punt returner after costly mistake. I didn't read it, but that wasn't a message. That was more like a TED Talk delivered through a mouth guard. And it probably sounded something like this. Learn to catch. Maybe not. Could have been more to it. I would know because I stopped reading. The Business Insider headline read, I'm a travel planner who's visited Disney World over 50 times. Here are 10 vacation mistakes I always see people make. I didn't read it, but I pretty much assume that your first mistake is going to Disney and the other 9 just follow suit. So it might be on you, but there could be more to it. I didn't read it. The headline in The Athletic today says NCAA confirms it is looking into Dabo Swinney's tampering accusations against Ole Miss. Now, I didn't read it, but he's coaching football in the cloud era with a flip phone mentality. Right this very minute, he's trying to fax a complaint to the Wi-Fi. Poor Dabo. I didn't read it, though. There could be more to it. Well, the Buffalo Rumbling reports today that Joe Brady's head coach promotion by Bills doesn't breed confidence. I didn't read it, but I'm going to tell you that's less new era and more, let's circle back. That promotion came with a return receipt. Let's not kid ourselves. There could be more to it. I didn't read it, so I don't know. BBC Science Focus magazine's headline, why is it so difficult to spot female psychopaths? Well, I didn't read it, but I can't even spot my own keys. I need a manual for the self-checkout. I'm not ready for human behavior. There could be more to it. I don't know. I didn't read it. Thanks for spending time with me today. My name is Bud like the beer, Ford like the truck. You can find me at Bud Ford Comedy. If you like what you saw today and you can subscribe, share, or whatever, do that if you want. Thanks.